I was uninvited for my parents' anniversary party. Yesterday they found out I owned the venue they booked. For 15 years I've been the family disappointment, minus the daughter who abandoned medical school to play with food, as my father called it. Yesterday they learned I own the restaurant empire they've been bragging about. Dining at the Uninvited came 3 weeks ago. My mother's text was characteristically blunt. We've decided to keep the 40th anniversary celebration intimate, just immediate family. Translation: my brother the surgeon, his perfect wife, and their Instagram-ready children were welcome. The chef daughter who hadn't spoken to her father since he called her culinary school a waste of potential was not. I'd seen the invitation accidentally through my brother's social media, minus an elegant dinner for 30 at the Meridian, the flagship restaurant of a hospitality group that had transformed our city's dining scene. What my parents didn't know was that I founded that group 8 years ago after working my way up from line cook to executive chef. I operate behind the scenes, minus my name isn't on the website, just a small wanted by LM on the last page of our menus. I've given interviews but always declined photos. The restaurant world knows me. The general public doesn't. This deliberate privacy had suddenly placed me in an extraordinary position. I could have told them immediately. Instead, I called my events director, the Gen Party next month. I'll be handling it personally. I spent weeks designing their perfect evening, my father's favorite wines, my mother's preferred flowers. I reviewed every detail of the 7-course menu, incorporating elements from their honeymoon in Tuscany. I even found photos from their wedding through my brother and had the pastry team recreate their original cake. Yesterday evening, I arrived early and waited in my private office that overlooks the main dining room. At 7 p.m., I watched through the one-way glass as my parents entered, admiring the space I had created. My father pointed to the James Beard Awards displayed in the entry, minus awards with my name on them he'd never bothered to learn about. The service began flawlessly. After the 3rd course, minus my father's favorite dish from childhood that he once told me no one makes properly anymore, mince, he asked to meet the chef. My events director's eyes found mine through the glass. It was time. I straightened my chef's coat and walked into the dining room. The recognition wasn't immediate. I stood at their table for a full 5 seconds before my mother's champagne glass froze midway to her lips. Lily, my father's voice barely audible. Welcome to the Meridian, I said calmly. I believe you are enjoying the anniversary celebration you didn't invite me to. The table fell silent. My brother looked like he wanted to disappear into the floor. My father, for the first time in my life, was speechless. This is your restaurant. My mother finally managed this one, and the other 7 in our group, I replied. The waste of potential turned out quite differently than you expected. What followed wasn't the dramatic confrontation you might expect. Instead, my father did something I'd never seen in 29 years, minus his eyes filled with tears. We thought you were struggling, he whispered. Your brother said you were working in restaurants, but we assumed you assumed I failed because I chose a different path. I finished for him. You never asked, not once in 15 years did you ask if I was happy or successful. The rest of the evening unfolded in a strange, emotional haze. My parents met my executive team, saw the wall of reviews and awards in my office. My father held my latest cookbook with trembling hands, opening to the dedication page I'd shown him. For the family that taught me perfection was the only acceptable outcome. I found my own definition. As they were leaving, my father stopped me. The meal was perfect, he said quietly. You've achieved something remarkable here. I know, I replied. My mother asked if I would join them for brunch tomorrow. I haven't decided yet if I'll go. 15 years of rejection doesn't disappear over one dinner, even a perfect one. But there was something undeniably satisfying about watching my father finally realize that his definition of success wasn't the only valid one, that sometimes the biggest disappointments become the greatest achievements. Mice just not in the way he had planned. Some parents push their children toward predetermined paths. Others learn sometimes too late that the paths we forge ourselves often lead to the most extraordinary destinations.